to another episode of Drafters TV. I'm Ben Hauver, and today we're doing a live draft in the Drafters Best Ball Championship. I've spent the last few weeks talking about draft strategy for this tournament, sneaky stacks that I like, late round targets with underrated upside. Now we're going to see how that theory translates into actual practice, into these drafts for real. I'm going to talk about each pick that I make. I'll highlight some of what I'm seeing from the competition, and when it's all said and done, we're going to take a look at the finished product and see if maybe we drafted a winner. If you're not familiar with this tournament, on Drafters, the format is as follows: $5.50 entry, 100-team max, 12-team leagues, no playoffs. It's simply the highest score wins. There's a 10,000 player field, $10,000 the first, $5,000 the second. In totality, it is a $50K guaranteed prize pool. And guess what? I've got a ticket to give away to this tournament. All you had to do to be entered into this giveaway was subscribe to this YouTube channel, Drafters Fantasy, and comment on last week's video with your favorite stack for attacking this tournament. We had a handful of entries. I've got the names open up in a randomizer. Whoever ends up on top of that list wins the ticket. So in 3, 2, 1, and the winner is Jason Harris. Harris said he likes Drake in the second and Murray in the fifth, and he also threw down Mixon in the first and Burrow whenever. I kind of like that, Jason Harris. I like that. Mixon to Burrow, that's a little bit underrated. You know, Mixon sitting around 30 to 40 catches in each of his 3 years. Maybe Burrow dumps off a little bit more. There should be, more opportunities, I think, for them to spread the ball out with so many viable wide receivers. So that's an interesting one. I do like it. You didn't, however, comment what your Drafters username is. So to claim this ticket, either DM myself on Twitter at Ben Hauver or DM Drafters at Drafters Fantasy to make sure that we know where to put this ticket so that you have a chance to get in there and draft one of these tournaments for free. Of course, the fun doesn't end there. We're going to run it back next week. I've got another Best Ball Championship ticket to give away. If you've been watching this series of videos, you should know the drill by now. If you're new here, this is what we're doing. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, comment below with your thoughts on this specific draft. Where did I go right? Where did I go wrong? Won't hurt my feelings. Let me know. All you have to do is comment below and include your Drafters username so that they know how to credit your account if you do win. That's it. Simple stuff. We'll announce the winner on next week's video, so make sure you check back and find out if you are that lucky person. Now, let's get drafting. Oh, there we go. Draft starts in 2 minutes. What pick did we get? 8th pick. 8th pick. Okay, 8th pick. Interesting. I am ready to draft. See, this is an interesting pick because I don't really know where I'm going to go until, it falls to me. It really does depend on where the drafters in front of me go. If I had a top 4 pick, I would already know where I'm going. I'm either getting CMC, Barkley, Zeke, or Kamara. Well, 8th pick, I don't know. I could get Michael Thomas. I could get Devontae Adams. I could get Kenyon Drake, Derrick Henry. Who knows? So let's see. I might get a little wild with this draft just because why not? I like to have fun with these. So bear with me. McCaffrey, Barkley, Kamara ahead of Zeke, but still the top 4 pretty self-explanatory. Michael Thomas goes at 5. Okay. Joe Mixon goes. And now I've really got a pick of a handful of running backs that I really like. Kenyon Drake, Miles Sanders, and Derrick Henry. I could go Devontae Adams here, who I've got ranked as my wide receiver 1 overall, but I think I'm going to go with Kenyon Drake here. I'm going to do a thing. Let's see how this plays out. Why not? Right? Why not? Henry goes next. See, the thing about Kenyon Drake to me, he was the running back 4 in points per game overall, after getting traded to the Cardinals. I'm not the type of guy who really extrapolates pace for players who really play half seasons. Not that Kenyon Drake played half a season, but I'm not really looking at any of his Miami numbers to really indicate what I expect to happen for him in this coming season with the Cardinals. The thing with Drake is that he's in a running back friendly scheme. He's with an offense that I expect to take a step forward with Kyler Murray in his second year, the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, Cliff Kingsbury having some more time to really figure out what he's going to be doing at an NFL level. And, Kenyon Drake was on pace to have nearly 300 total touches, over 50 catches, 16 touchdowns. I mean, he had 8 touchdowns in 8 games with the Cardinals. I think he has a ton of upside. I mean, he's my 5th ranked running back. I've got him ahead of Derrick Henry and ahead of Dalvin Cook, ahead of Joe Mixon. Cook and Mixon went ahead of him, so I look at it as a value really going at pick 8. So I'm pretty happy with landing Kenyon Drake there. What do we think? Do we like this more or this more? I kind of like the slider opposed to the table. Travis Kelce in the first round is the first really interesting pick that I've seen over here by my guy, Hurricane Ditka. I don't hate it. I really don't. Travis Kelce is the top tight end to own. I know some people are getting really wild and going with George Kittle ahead of Travis Kelce. Wouldn't be me. I mean, I'm fine with that. Kelce and Julio at the turn. I mean, I'm not taking Julio ahead of Tyreek Hill. That's for sure. But still, it's not the worst turn I've ever seen. Shout out to you, Hurricane. Let's see what we can grab up here in the second round. I think I would be really happy to grab either Tyreek Hill or DeAndre Hopkins. If I grab DeAndre Hopkins, then that kind of locks me into sort of an Arizona Cardinals stack, and I would be looking to grab Kyler Murray ahead of ADP most likely down the road. Kind of hoping that happens. Kind of hoping Nuke falls to me here. Ooh, Jacobs ahead of Eckler and Chubb at running back. Whoa, I don't know. Don't know about that, D-Nice. Nick Chubb. All right, got to do it. Easy pick here, DeAndre Hopkins. Now, basically, from this point on, we're just hoping that nobody goes crazy and snipes me on Kyler Murray, because I'm going to be looking to grab Kyler Murray probably in round 6, because I want to make sure I get him. I mean, this team at this point is basically built on the success of the Arizona Cardinals, so why not get Kyler Murray? I mean, if Kyler Murray doesn't have a good season and the Cardinals don't have a good season, well, guess what? This team's not winning. But if I believe that this team has a chance to win, and you should with every team that you draft, well, guess what? For Kenyon Drake and DeAndre Hopkins to be on the winning roster, stands to reason that Kyler Murray is going to have a successful season. So, yeah, Kyler Murray is definitely somebody I'm targeting at the right price. I don't want to reach for him in the 3rd round or anything crazy, but I do want to make sure that I can get him. See, a lot of guys that I would love to take here are going to go right in front of me. I can already tell, Odell Beckham, Juju Smith-Schuster, Allen Robinson. I would love to land one of those 3 guys. I don't know if they're going to make it to me. Todd Gurley, I guess, would be a backup plan. I do think that there's a lot of upside being the primary running back for Atlanta. There goes Odell. Let's see. I'm going to guess that Robinson goes next and then Juju Smith-Schuster. Let's see. Am I psychic? And there goes Allen Robinson. If Juju goes here with this next pick, I mean, I should probably play like the lotto or something tonight, right? Yikes, never mind. Yikes, Mike Evans goes. Okay, I mean, can I get Juju? No, I can't. Wow, can't even get Todd Gurley. See, that's an unfortunate turn of events for me. So now I'm looking at, Cooper Kupp. I think it's a little too early for that. A.J. Brown, I could hammer one of these running backs, I think, or even go with Mark Andrews. I'm not going to grab Kyler yet. That's way too early. So I think the play here is going to be DJ Moore. It's not really in my rankings, but maybe I should do it. No, I'm not going to do it. I don't like DJ Moore. I'm sorry. I mean, he would be a value in terms of ADP right here, but frankly, I just don't see it. Give me A.J. Brown. I mean, A.J. Brown showed so much last year as a rookie. I think that there's room to grow Everything we've seen from the Titans just basically is telling us that they're going to run it back. They're going to do everything that they did last year. Again, they extended Derrick Henry. They didn't really add a wide receiver. It's still just A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. I mean, I know some people out there think Corey Davis is going to have his, late rookie deal, Devontae Parker-esque breakout this year. Why? I just don't see it. A.J. Brown is the dude there. And I mean, you look at guys like DJ Moore who were there, Adam Thielen. I don't know. A.J. Brown is the primary pass catcher, and I think he has a ton of upside. Hurricane Ditka adds David Johnson. And I've got to say, I am loving his team. Don't love that pick of David Montgomery. See, I'm giving him a compliment, and then we do that. Not sure if I would go there over guys like Melvin Gordon or even Jonathan Taylor in terms of the upside. I'm about to be in a position. Oh, never mind. I was going to say I'm about to be in a position where I have to take DJ Moore. No longer the case. This is looking like it's going to be a balanced roster for me. None of these wide receivers are guys that I really want to take at this point, I don't think. I mean, I could Melvin Gordon or Jonathan Taylor. You know what? I think what I'm going to do here is take Mark Andrews, and this is sort of something I've been coming around to. I have him ranked currently below Zach Ertz, but that's more of a median thing for me. I think that Mark Andrews' ceiling is higher when you look at the distribution of targets that we're going to be seeing in, Terry McLaurin at 43. Solid pick. I was kind of hoping I could scoop him up, but that's a great pick there. With Mark Andrews versus guys like Ertz and Waller, it's just that he is going to be the primary option. I could see Waller being the primary option for the Raiders, but with Ertz, yeah, he's going to have touches. Yeah, he has a lot of rapport with Carson Wentz, but they added so many pieces. Jalen Reagor, they added Marquise Goodwin via trade. Alshon Jeffrey should be back. Deshaun Jackson should be back most likely. So I do think that Mark Andrews is the primary pass catcher for Lamar Jackson. And by all accounts and by all, projections that I'm doing, that I'm seeing, that I believe in, I think that those rush attempts, they're coming down. Pass attempts, they're going up. Efficiency should be coming down. And if anything, I think that speaks to the volume that Mark Andrews could see. I mean, he had 10 touchdowns last year. He could repeat that number with more receptions, I think, and just a little bit less efficient in terms of the delivery of those stats. Now, we're getting to the point where it's going to be value deciding where we go. I could look to take Kyler Murray with this next pick. And in fact, I might, because I could miss him by pick 65. So if Kyler Murray falls here and there's not a glaring pick that I need to make at wide receiver or running back here at 56, then I will most likely reach and take Kyler Murray at pick 56. I mean, his ADP is probably right around there. I mean, his ADP is 47. I mean, usually he goes later than that, but I mean, at pick 56, I think I'm probably going to have to take him, especially if one of Dak Prescott or Russell Wilson goes in this next handful of picks, because once somebody starts taking that tier 2 of quarterbacks, everybody starts taking that tier 2. So I would rather set off the chain and assure myself Kyler Murray in this spot than wait and miss him in between my next 2 picks. Chris Carson, Mark Ingram, 2 guys I have 0% exposure to going here at 47 and 48. Couldn't be me. No offense to you guys. Dally all day and see that. I do like Keenan here. I like Steph Diggs a lot. DK Metcalf quite a bit as well. T.Y. Hilton goes there. But I really do think that it's going to have to be Murray with this next pick. DeAndre Swift and Kareem Hunt are 2 players that I would take here if I weren't building this to be a Cardinal stack. But just the way that my first and second round picks went, it's got to be that way. Pretty much guaranteeing that I'm going to be taking Kyler Murray at this next pick. Don't do it, Delta. Don't do it. You don't want to do it. Why would you do it? Raheem Mostert. Okay. See, what I'm going to do right now is take Kyler Murray, and I think that is going to prompt Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Watson to go and push some of these other wide receivers down a little bit to a point where I'm able to scoop a valuable player at pick 65. I bet that at least 2 of Prescott, Wilson, and Watson go before my next pick at 65 after I set off this tier 2, run on quarterbacks when I draft Kyler Murray. Ideally, I could have waited right there. I would have liked to wait and tried to get him at pick 65. But like I said, it's just a situation where if this roster with Kenyon Drake and DeAndre Hopkins at the top pans out, it just makes sense to have Kyler Murray to correlate those results. So we'll see what happens here. Swift and Hunt both go, which is unfortunate because I would have liked to get one of them with this next pick at running back. But again, I mean, I'm happy if I'm able to get Allen or Diggs or maybe even Cortland Sutton. Okay, Cortland Sutton goes. So Diggs or Allen. Diggs or Allen. Ooh. All right, Keenan Allen went. If I can land Stephon Diggs here, I'm thrilled. Damn it. Well played. Well played. Roll Irish. You son of a bitch. Just kidding, man. See, it didn't really pan out because nobody took Prescott or Wilson or Watson. What are you guys doing? You sharp or something? Apparently I'm drafting with a bunch of real sharp people. So now what do I do? What do I do? Oh my God, what do I do? No. All right, see, it's calm. Everybody calm down. No need to panic. I think I'm going to take, I'm going to go ahead and just grab my boy. Just go with the rankings, When in doubt, go with the rankings. I'll take Hollywood Brown. I've got Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown. Obviously, no shot that I'm going to be able to get Lamar Jackson. He went in the second round. So, I mean, that's fine, though. It's fine. I've got a lot of exposure to 2 really great offenses in the Ravens and the Cardinals now. So far, things haven't necessarily been quote-unquote going my way. We'll see. I think there's still a lot of room to turn this into a really strong team. I mean, Hollywood Brown as a wide receiver 3. I mean, come on. So would it be overkill for me to try and grab Christian Kirk with one of these next 2 picks of mine? And just really make this a full-blown Cardinals onslaught? I'm probably going to do it. I don't think I'll take him at pick 80 because I'm fine if I don't get him. But, I mean, if he falls to my following pick, round 89, his ADP is right around there too. Yeah, 89 exactly, 89.8. So, I mean, if I can get him at ADP, I don't have to reach on him. Like, I've already got a double stack with Drake and Hopkins and stacked with Murray. So, it's not like necessary per se, but I mean, why not, right? I mean, I might as well if he makes it to me at ADP at pick 89. So after I took Marquise Brown at 65, Dak Prescott, Michael Gallup, Ronald Jones, AJ Green, J.K. Dobbins, Jarvis Landry. I'm fine with all of these picks, to be honest. Will Fuller's probably going to go in a second here. A lot of these running backs are kind of like a dead zone. Like, a lot of people aren't going to be drafting these guys. I mean, this sort of turned into a modified 0 RB draft strategy just off the strength of how the draft board fell. I will say at this point in the draft, typically I try not to take both a quarterback and a tight end as early as I did. I usually like to grab one of the 2 positions and be really strong at them. I'm strong at both now, and I think what that's going to allow me to do is make sure that I draft at least 6, maybe 7 running backs. What I'm going to need to do is take shots at the running back position late with some really high upside guys, just due to the fact that I drafted 3 wide receivers, a quarterback, and a tight end with, my first 6 picks. Landry, Edelman, Boyd, they're players that have to be drafted in this range because they're too valuable not to be. but really they're like floor players. And I'm not mad that I missed out on all those guys because like there's some players with ceilings, I think, especially on a week-to-week basis, higher ceilings, which is beneficial for best ball, that I think are going later. Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, Darius Slayton, to name a few, that I can grab, some of those guys with my upcoming picks. At running back, I think I could take Kerryon Johnson maybe with this next pick. I like Swift more than Johnson, but I am wary of the rookies, due to the way that COVID is seriously impacting the NFL right now. I'm becoming more and more, sorry to interrupt my own tangent, but Brandon Cooks going ahead of Will Fuller, love it. Will Fuller goes with the next pick. But I mean, there's been a lot of Will Fuller talk on Twitter these past couple days. I'm on team Brandon Cooks. Will Fuller is entering his 5th season and hasn't broken 700 yards in a single season. Everybody thinks that he's like all of a sudden the new Texans DeAndre Hopkins. No shot. Brandon Cooks already has 4 1,000-yard seasons under his belt, and he's played with elite quarterbacks, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, right? Jared Goff, not so much, but it was an elite offense at the time. Guess what? He's in the best offensive situation he's been in yet, with all the targets that DeAndre Hopkins has vacated, and now getting to play with Deshaun Watson. I think Brandon Cooks could have a career year, and he is typically going like 15 picks later than Will Fuller. Dally all day making a really sharp pick, I think, grabbing Brandon Cooks where he did, because I most likely would have grabbed him with this pick at pick 80, to be honest with you. Christian Kirk. Well played, Delta. Well played. All right. You know what? I'm going to get a little bit weird here. Why not? Because, listen, there's 10,000 people drafting. So while upside is the most important thing, because you need to beat 10,000 other people, you know what else is important? Unique lineups. How many people with their first 7 picks are drafting both Mark Andrews and Darren Waller? Probably not that many. I think that usually if you're drafting Mark Andrews, you're going to wait a little bit on tight end. I'm a big fan of Darren Waller. I think that what this does is it gives me another unique, I think it adds some uniqueness to my lineup. Probably could have taken a running back there. Might have been better for the overall balance of the team, but let's have fun. Let's get weird with it. We're getting weird with it now, okay? And I think it's just going to get weirder from here on out. Should I have done that? I don't know if I should have done that. It's too late now. Should I have done that? I don't know if I should have done that. I really don't know if I should have done that. Like, sometimes I just like to have fun in these drafts. This, by the way, is my 3rd cup of coffee in like the last hour. So I'm kind of bouncing off the walls right now. If you guys can tell, I'm a little bit more like than I am in these usually. I'm probably going to edit that out. Deshaun Jackson, pick 84. Hurricane. My guy, I love the way you started your team. What are you doing? Deshaun Jackson at pick 84? Shouldn't even be drafted. Especially not ahead of Jalen Reagor or Alshon Jeffrey. I mean, I think that Marquise Goodwin, who I'm probably going to draft with like my 20th round pick in this league, is going to replace him. I mean, tell me that Marquise Goodwin, 2 or 3 years younger than Deshaun Jackson, isn't a better deep threat. I mean, he was already a better deep threat than Deshaun Jackson. Maybe not as productive as a deep threat, but faster, absolutely. All right, I need to calm down. See, I'm getting hyped up. I'm hyping myself up. Got to get in the zone. James White, Jordan Howard. If I can nab Kerryon here, then I feel good about my last pick of Darren Waller, because I was still able to grab a running back too that I feel good about. Potentially looking at Godius here. Darius Slayton, a.k.a. Young Slay, a.k.a. Godius. Absolutely love his upside as a wide receiver 4. And with Kerryon Johnson going, oh God. Darius, Matt Breida. All right. Now, what do I do here? Do I go with my gut and take Godius Slayton as my wide receiver 4 and just full-blown punt at running back, or do I grab Tariq Cohen as a safety net? Now, my brain is telling me, hey, don't grab Tariq Cohen, because what are we talking about? Does he have a ceiling? That's what you have to ask yourself. Tariq Cohen as a running back 2 would be a better pick for the balance of this roster than Darius Slayton would, given the fact that I need a running back 2 still at pick 89. But does he have a ceiling? The answer, in my opinion, is that he does. He does have a ceiling, and hence why I'm going to draft Tariq Cohen. Now, you might look at Tariq Cohen like a guy like James White or maybe Theo Riddick of old, where, what is the upside? Is he just a floor play on a weekly basis? But I don't think that he is. And the reason I feel that way is because he's had 80 catches, right? 80 catches in both years, or at least, let me see here. What do we got? Career stats. Okay. It was 70 plus catches in the last 2 years. And while Mitch Trubisky is still the quote unquote starter in Chicago, Nick Foles is a guy who likes to dump off. I mean, in the 2 games that he started last year with Jacksonville, Leonard Fournette, one of them had like 12 targets. It was the most targets he'd seen in a game all season. So yeah, Nick Foles isn't the type of guy who's going to be, keeping the ball the way that Trubisky did in certain times. He's going to be looking to dump off and make those short gains. I like Tariq Cohen a lot. I mean, I think with the type of volume he'll see in the passing game, he'll have a legit shot to really put up some stellar weeks. And I like him as an RB2. I mean, he does have a high weekly floor, but I mean, he had a couple 25 plus point games on DraftKings last year. I recall it made me some money. I played him probably more than I should have, but I like Tariq Cohen quite a bit. And I still think that there's going to be a viable wide receiver 4 that I can take at this pick 104. Will it be Godius? Will I be able to get Godius? I'm not sure. Will I be able to get John Brown? Perhaps. Mecole Hardman? Perhaps. I'd be happy to grab any of those players. Henry Ruggs is somebody I'm going to be looking at as well, considering I have Waller. I mean, thinking ahead, Derek Carr as a QB3 for this team is definitely in play. I might as well, make it another stack. Of course, Tannehill's in play as well with A.J. Brown on the team. I mean, that'll really just be a value thing, seeing who falls to me. With Mark Andrews and Darren Waller, though, I'm done with tight end. I don't need to draft another tight end. I feel very comfortable with just having those 2 guys as the only 2 tight ends on this roster. And that'll allow me to take 3 quarterbacks while still drafting at least 6 or more running backs, which I'll need to. And I'll need to draft those running backs considering I waited on position for so long, and a lot of guys really were going earlier. I mean, ideally, this next pick 104, will be Darius Slayton. If I could get that, I am sailing. I'll be so excited. Please, let me get him. Phillip Lindsay and Duke Johnson going in the first 100 picks. People are scared about running backs. You can tell. I wouldn't draft either of those guys in the top 100, but people need to get their running backs. Of course, Godius Slayton goes at 101. Just can't have nice things sometimes. It's sad. Tony Pollard, wow. Anthony Miller. Probably going to have to reach on a running back here. Alexander Madison, I mean, I like Madison. I think that he looked really good last year. Dalvin Cook holding out. Dalvin Cook missed 14 games in his first 2 seasons. That being said, I think it's a little early for Madison. I mean, it was really early for Lindsey, Duke, and Tony Pollard as well. So the best pick right now would be Josh Allen. But I can't spend that many picks between quarterback and tight end this early in the draft. As much as I would like to, I can't do it. It would be fun. It would be weird, but I can't do it. So do I take Crowder or Mike Williams or Robbie Anderson, or do I take Madison here, or do you take Sony? I'm going to take Sony. I like Sony. I mean, the thing about Sony Michel is that he could lose his job to Damian Harris. I mean, he could have a serious knee issue. or he could be okay by the time the season starts and be a huge beneficiary of Cam Newton at the goal line and the confusion that can cause for defenses, and Sony Michel could have his best touchdown year yet. I think all things are possible. I mean, Sony Michel is going to have, 8-10 games this year where he's not fantasy viable, but he could also have, 5 or 6 games where he scores twice in a given week and, ends the season with 10 touchdowns, double-digit touchdowns. That's definitely in his range of outcomes. I was drafting Sony Michel a lot early in the best ball season. I slowed down on it for a long time. That's actually the first time I've taken him in quite some time. But, I mean, look, he's still going to be a part of this offense, I think, for the Patriots. So I don't hate Sony Michel at 104. And if I can grab Alexander Mattison here at 113, I most likely will. I mean, Josh Allen still on the board this late is kind of absurd. Okay, he does go. Hurricane Ditka. Redeeming yourself a little bit with that pick. Deebo Samuel. It's fine. It's okay. Deebo Samuel. All right, so here we are looking. I mean, there's a lot of tight end value right here. I mean, I got my whole tier of tight ends here really as the next, value. Hooper, Henry, Hurst, Emmanuel Sanders. That's way, way too early. I mean, it's good in terms of like his ADP, but I just want no parts of any Saints players outside of, Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. So really I'm looking at either Mike Williams or Robbie Anderson in this spot. And I think truthfully, I'll have a shot to get one or both of those guys coming back around, pick 128, because people are not that high on Robbie Anderson. They're really not. So I am going to grab Alexander Mattison in this spot. I think he has some standalone value, to be honest. I think that with Dalvin Cook sort of at the end, Dalvin Cook isn't at the end of his, with Dalvin Cook potentially being at the end of his tenure with the Vikings, I think that they're going to let Mattison touch the ball more than they did as a rookie. They want to see if he is a legitimate, option for them. They invested a 3rd round pick in him. He looked good when given the opportunity. Dalvin Cook is arguably an injury concern. I would argue that he is. And yeah, I think that with the holdout as well, pick 113, there's a ton of upside. I mean, Mattison could be a league winner. Like, if Dalvin Cook gets injured in the first 2 weeks of the season, I guarantee that the top 100 teams, 80% of those are going to be teams that have Alexander Mattison. He's one of those players that could completely swing the outcome of an NFL season from a fantasy perspective. I'm kind of regretting the Mark Andrews, Darren Waller thing right now because, I mean, Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, Noah Fant, all available incredibly late. Like, I'm almost going to have to take one of these guys just off of the pure value. And I don't want to do that. Like, don't make me do that. Can you guys just get a nice run of tight ends going so that I can grab some of these wide receivers that I need for my team? Because I'm about to have to take one of these tight ends just off of the value alone. I don't want to do it. Don't make me do it. I mean, I said like 5 minutes ago that Robbie Anderson would be my ideal pick. Here at 128, I would be thrilled to make that happen. Delta, are you going to snipe me again? I know you got me with that Christian Kirk pick. I like your team, though. I do like this team. Pretty running back heavy. I wouldn't have drafted Raheem Mostert that early. Jalen Reagor, that's solid. And it does allow me to grab Robbie Anderson there. I like that. I like that a lot. I really do. Chase Edmonds, that's a solid pick. I mean, he's in the same tier for me as guys like Madison and Pollard. I mean, I wouldn't take him like I just talked about. I mean, I wouldn't take him because I have Kenyon Drake. And I think that's counterintuitive, but it's solid here at pick 129. No doubt about it. I mean, I could be looking here at a handful of guys. I like Preston Williams. I like Justin Jefferson or N'Keal Harry in this spot. Hurricane Ditka locks up Cam Newton to N'Keal Harry. I talked about that in my stacking video last week. Hurricane Ditka, we have a real like on and off thing going on right here. Like, you've made some absolutely incredible picks and some picks that I just can't stand, like Deshaun Jackson in round 10 there. I mean, that is egregious, but I mean, Josh Allen at pick 108 is one of the best picks of the draft, and I love grabbing Cam Newton and N'Keal Harry there at 132, 133. I mean, your team, bro. solid stuff. Devonta Freeman. Why? Why are we picking Devonta Freeman at 130? I mean, I get it. He's going to sign somewhere, but there's no shot that he's going to sign somewhere and be like a starter, right? No shot. There's no starting positions left. I mean, his best case scenario would probably be signing somewhere like Tampa Bay. That's really the only landing spot I think in the entire NFL that would justify him getting picked where he's going. 134. No, couldn't be me. Could not be me. Austin Hooper at pick 137? Or Baker Mayfield? Can't believe I'm about to do this. I was really happy to not take another tight end, but this value is just like absurd. I mean, I'm getting him like 50 picks after his ADP. Oh, God. See, it's either it's either going to be Justin Jefferson or Austin Hooper, and it's like I try not to go overboard with the rookie wide receivers, and there's so many rookie wide receivers that are going late, like Denzel Mims and Brandon Ayuk, that I like at their values. Wow. So I don't feel great about that, but it's like I don't feel great about taking Austin Hooper there. But look at this tight end run. Henry, Hooper, Jonnu Smith, Dallas Goedert. TJ Hawkinson's probably going to go next. Yeah, I mean, just the value is absurd with Austin Hooper going at pick 137. His ADP is 86. It's 50 picks. It's a 50 pick ADP gap. Love Austin Hooper this year. I mean, I have Austin Hooper ranked as my tight end 7, right behind Evan Ingram and Darren Waller. I wish I hadn't taken Darren Waller where I did. I could have gone and gotten a better wide receiver 4, I think, but everything is fine. I can honestly say that this is probably the only entry into this tournament that's going to have Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, and Austin Hooper. Because A, who's crazy enough to do that? And B, how many times is Austin Hooper going to fall that late in drafts? I mean, I haven't seen it before right now, and I don't expect to see it happen at a very frequent basis. I mean, I will take TJ Hawkinson with this next pick. I don't care. I will just go nuts in a minute. Don't make me do it. I mean, if Baker Mayfield somehow falls to pick 152, that would be pretty delicious. Well, see, the draft is getting a little bit crazy right now. Chris Herndon at 145, Damian Harris at 149. I mean, clearly we were just a little bit desperate for running back here with this start of Fournette, Jones, and Geis. I mean, that's really early for Damian Harris. I mean, his ADP is like pick 175. I mean, for me right here, this just kind of fell into my lap. I mean, Austin Hooper, who I took purely off of value, and now I can stack up with Baker Mayfield. Because I feel so strongly about what Baker Mayfield's going to do this year. I think that, it's kind of like a post-hype thing where the hype was so out of control and that, he disappointed so many people last year that he's falling. Going behind Joe Burrow and Ben Roethlisberger is a little bit crazy to me. I mean, I've got Mayfield inside my top 12 quarterbacks, and I mean, I can't believe I just got him at 152. Now, usually I love to stack him with Landry or Beckham, obviously. But it just happened to be that, I got Austin Hooper 50 picks later than his ADP, and then he pairs well with Baker Mayfield. And because I like Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield so much, I will not be taking another quarterback, almost guaranteed, unless, of course, something crazy like this Austin Hooper value prompts me to. But as it stands right now, I mean, I feel great about having both Murray and Mayfield at quarterback with these 3 tight ends, and I think that I can be okay with just those 5 guys between the 2 onesie positions. I mean, could I grab Teddy Bridgewater to stack with Anderson, or Ryan Tannehill to stack with A.J. Brown? I could. But, I mean, these running backs are flying off the board. I think I might have to reach here to grab a high upside running back 5. Scratch that. We're going wide receiver. We got to go wide receiver here. This draft is all types of crazy. Carlos Hyde, Raquel Armstead, and Darrington Evans are players who usually are going past pick 180. And they all just went before 160. That is a little bit nutty. It almost makes me want to go ahead and grab, Joshua Kelly or Rashad Penny or one of these guys that I like to target super late now, because, are they even going to make it back to me at pick 176? It's a risk I'm willing to take, though, because at wide receiver, there's still a lot of guys I like here. John Ross, Paris Campbell, Denzel Mims, Alan Lazard. I think I'm going to take Lazard here as the Packers wide receiver 2 that is consistently going underdrafted. Even though his ADP is 169 and it's pick 161, so it's a bit of a reach, I do think that Alan Lazard is still a value at this point in the draft. Last year people were grabbing Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Geronimo Allison at the 8-9 turn. And I just got him with my 14th round pick. That's pure value to me. Paris Campbell goes next. So, all right. Come on. Highlight. Come on. Let me get him. Player profiler comp. Chris Godwin. Jets. No. It's Mims. Mims. Come on. Sam Darnold's had to overcome mono. He's had to overcome a lot. Bad coaching. Poor talent around him. Not anymore. Got Denzel Mims. Wide receiver 1 for the New York Jets. Don't hit me with this Brashad Perryman nonsense. Dude's a bust. It's Denzel Mims season. Let me get him. Oh yeah. Let's go. Love that pick. Absolutely love that pick. Oh yeah. Quarterback run. Tannehill. Cousins. Gerald Everett, eh? I respected Ditka. He was on my deep sleepers list. Talked about it on a video on this channel. Irv Smith. Oh yeah. See, I'm not drafting any quarterbacks and tight ends, so I like to see this. 5 straight picks of players I wouldn't have drafted anyways. The question is do I go for Rashad Penny here, or do I go for John Ross or Kenny Stills or Alshon Jeffrey? I don't know what the answer to that question is. I think, oh my God, Alshon Jeffrey, another 50 picks later than his ADP. People are killing me, man. I don't know what to do here. Listen, potentially I should have just waited and grabbed Marquise Goodwin with my final round pick, because that's an option. People don't take him in these drafts. I'm like the only person. But, Alshon Jeffrey, his ADP was 138. I grabbed him at 185. Between him and Austin Hooper, 2 insane value picks. I know that, Alshon might miss a good chunk of the season, but he has a lot of rapport with Carson Wentz, and say he only plays 8 games, he could have 6 touchdowns and be a valuable contributor. As my wide receiver 7, I don't need him to be in there all season. I really don't. The wide receivers on this roster are kind of shaky. They really are. You're going to end up with 9, I think. 6 running backs, 9 wide receivers, I think is how this roster is going to shape up. Man, if I could land Penny here at pick 200, I would be ecstatic. I just think that Alshon Jeffrey has a better shot to, end up in my lineup more times over the course of 16 games than Rashad Penny does, excluding injury. Of course, Rashad Penny could be a phenomenal pick if Chris Carson goes down and it's just between him and Carlos Hyde. But as much as I would like to believe that would be Penny's opportunity before would be Hyde's. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Hyde is even coming off of a 1,000-yard season with the Texans. So, I don't know. That said, if I could grab either of Rashad Penny or John Ross with this next pick, I am flying. Absolutely in love with either of those picks. Jimmy Garoppolo at 194 is just phenomenal value. Does he have? Well, he has Ayuk. I like that a lot. I like it. Solid pick, Dally, all day. Solid pick. Phillip Rivers, my boy. Love that as well. 195. Such a value. Dude hasn't finished lower than QB 15 since like 2012? Going to pick 195? Loaded offense with the Colts. Hilton, Campbell, Pittman, Doyle, Hines. Jesus. Why don't people like Phillip Rivers? I don't get it. Because he's boring? Tell me Sam Darnold's not boring? I mean, it's not that boring. He's got Denzel Mims on the team, so. All right. I mean, if Rashad Penny and John Ross gets here, I'm logging out, and I'm letting the rest of this thing auto-draft, because I'll just be too brokenhearted to handle it. Delta sniped me a couple times. If he snipes me here, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Dude. Let's go. Works out. Got Rashad Penny a full 15 picks later than I was about to take him last time. Love that as my running back 5. Let's go. What a pick. Thank you, Delta, for not sniping me. I really appreciate it. Devin Funchess is actually a good pick this late at 199. I mean, I'm on Team Alan Lazard, but hey, Devin Funchess, good for you, bud. Thanks for not taking Penny. I really appreciate it. And sets me up here to grab another running back that I love late in Dion Lewis, the ultimate underrated handcuff behind Saquon Barkley. Did a whole spiel about him on my late round sleepers video as to why I view him as the cheap arbitrage version of Madison, Pollard, Chase Edmonds, etc. Antonio Brown's still going. People can't quit him. But hey, at 202, it's fine because most of these picks past 200 aren't going to do much for you. I saw Antonio Brown go at pick 99 in one of these drafts in the first drafters tournament, and I was floored. Like, what? Top 100 pick? At 202, it's fine. Oh my God, I thought that said Irv Smith, like he got drafted twice. Ito Smith. People drafting Ito Smith, huh? See, that's why Dion Lewis is such a value to me, because Ito Smith, even if Todd Gurley goes down, what is he? What's he going to do? Get you 9 points in a week, 10 points in a week, scores a touchdown, he might get you 13 with 0 receptions and 60 yards rushing? Ooh, not for me. No, thank you. If Saquon Barkley goes down, Dion Lewis is putting up RB1 numbers on a weekly basis. Even if Barkley misses 3 games, well, you know what? That's 3 games of Dion Lewis being an RB1 as the Giants' number 2 running back. I mean, he's shown that he can do it. He's versatile. Didn't really fit well with the Titans, but I mean, God, the disrespect for Dion Lewis. It's like some people didn't catch that full season when he was just a complete beast for the Patriots. Seeing about 3 starting quarterbacks left: Dwayne Haskins, Nick Foles, Tyrod Taylor. That's really the end of the quarterbacks that I consider draftable. You want to get weird. Tua Tagovailoa is probably not going to play a snap this season. PJ Walker. If you're a savage, you would draft PJ Walker, because, that man tore up the XFL. Yeah. Dion Lewis, that's an easy pick. And then I'm going to use the last 2 picks on wide receiver here. Traquan Smith goes. Okay. I would rather have Traquan Smith at pick 219 than Emmanuel Sanders at pick something absurd, right? Where'd he go? 112. Yeah, give me Traquan Smith like 90 picks later, over the aging, decrepit Emmanuel Sanders. That's a guarantee. Lynn Bowden, dude. All these picks are just straight flyers at this point. I mean, somebody should draft Dwayne Haskins. Somebody should do it. Whoever drafted Terry McLaurin should be drafting Dwayne Haskins. They probably already should have. Can a brother get Andy Isabella? Like, can I get Andy Isabella here? Like, you gonna let me do it? Delta? You've been cool to me so far. CJ Uzoma. Andy Isabella. Delta says, this was the slowest draft ever. So many players let the entire 1 minute clock expire for each pick. Ridiculous. Feel your pain, brother. They got to change the pick clock to 30 or 40 seconds. It's too long. I would be in support of 30 seconds. So with my final pick here, I think I'm going to take a shot. Like, this roster is very unique, I think, in terms of like just like the tight ends that fell to me. Just the way this roster is pretty built. Oh my God, see, I'm reading Delta's picks instead of making my own picks. So what I'm going to do here is take a guy that I talked about on my late round sleeper video recently, and that's going to be Tajay Sharp. I think that Justin Jefferson should be the guy who really finishes with the second most targets behind Thielen for the Vikings, but Tajay Sharp is going to be playing on the outside. He's going to play a ton of snaps on the outside with, Thielen and Jefferson both being suited best for the slot. So I do like Tajay Sharp. I think he's going to play a lot of snaps for the Vikings on the outside. And as a pick at 233, getting a guy who could theoretically be the wide receiver too for the Vikings is just, it's value. It's value. Getting the final pick in here about an hour and 30 minutes later. This was a long one to my guy Delta 3's point. A lot of people taking the full minute. It doesn't really bother me, especially when I'm doing something like this. Gives me a little bit of time to think about what I'm going to say next. I do think I would support faster drafts, but I don't mind it. I really don't. So I'm going to go ahead and screenshot that. So I've got my team screenshot going on, and then we're going to look at my full team. My team. We're going to look at the full team here, and what we've got is voila. So this is the team that I ended up with, drafting from the 8th spot. Some quick notes about it from a roster construction standpoint: 2 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 9 wide receivers, and 3 tight ends. I like that. I think that is a good way to build a roster with 5 picks dedicated to the 2 onesie positions. Obviously, onesie position meaning, a position where you need to only start 1 player at per week, so quarterback or tight end. I think it is important to spend only 5 picks total between the 2 onesie positions, quarterback and tight end. I would have liked to only draft 2 tight ends because with Mark Andrews and Darren Waller, I felt really good about that. I addressed it briefly, getting Austin Hooper 50 picks after his ADP. I've got him ranked as my tight end 7. To me, that was just value that I could not ignore. Normally, I would have just let it sit with, Waller and Andrews, and then probably grabbed somebody like, say, Ryan Tannehill late as a third quarterback, just in case him and AJ Brown go nuclear this season. I would have liked to have that correlation, but getting Baker Mayfield after pick 150 to pair with Kyler Murray is just, I absolutely love that. I think Mayfield has a ton of upside. It is a stack there with Austin Hooper, and I also in terms of stacking, this roster is a full-on Cardinals onslaught. Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins, Kenyon Drake is a pass catcher who is on pace to get over 50 receptions if you extrapolate the 8-game numbers that he had with the Cardinals. Ended up with Andy Isabella as my wide receiver 8, scooped him up late. And yeah, frankly, I think that the wide receivers on this team are a little bit weaker than they should be. The running backs as well. I mean, honestly, this team is like a C plus to me. I don't think that this team is absolutely amazing by any stretch. It's not my favorite team that I've done in terms of these tournament drafts. But, I made the most of it with what I could. Running backs flew off the board in this draft. I mean, absolutely flew off the board. Guys like Damian Harris and Darrington Evans going 30 picks ahead of their ADP. Reichwell Armstead as well. One that I noticed. I mean, Philip Lindsay going in the top 100. Like, those are a lot of guys that I'm not targeting anyways, but the fact that they went so early just kept, people were hammering running backs. People were letting tight ends fall in this draft. So it was unique, but, guys like Rashad Penny and Dion Lewis, who I got as my running backs 5 and 6, like, they were available late still, which is why I would not advocate, just reaching on position because of need. Like, it's like you can find guys with high upside late in drafts if you know where to look. And Dion Lewis, I talked about him in my Deep Sleepers video on this channel. Just, he's got RB1 upside if Barkley ever went down. I mean, not RB1 overall upside, but, if Barkley misses 4 weeks, Dion Lewis could post RB1 numbers for 3 or 4 weeks out of that span. And that's the same thing as like Alexander Madison or Tony Pollard or Chase Edmonds, and you're getting him 100 picks later. So he is a phenomenal pick in my opinion. And yeah, like there's scenarios where, Chris Carson's healthy the whole season, where Damian Harris overtakes Sony Michel, Saquon Barkley plays 16 games, and guess what? This roster fails. But that is really focusing on the floor and focusing on median outcomes. What we need to be focusing on is putting this position, putting ourselves in positions to succeed when things break right. And I think that is what I did with this team. I don't hate the team. Like I said, C plus is how I would rate this team. If you feel differently, if you thought that there was a point in this draft where I really went wrong or where I went right, I would love to hear your feedback on this team. And like I mentioned at the top of the video, we are doing a giveaway. So, what I need from you is your thoughts on this draft in general. It doesn't have to be about my team. Maybe you liked one of the other teams that you saw, some other pick that you saw. Just, give me a thought on this draft below. Comment it, subscribe to the channel, and give us your drafter's username. And hey, you might win a free ticket to come in this tournament and draft next week when we announce the giveaway. What's not to like about that? I really appreciate everybody taking the time to watch this. And yeah, thanks again, and we will talk next week.